my son hasn't been living with his mother for roughly the last 18 months. She's received roughly $20,000 since my son has lived with her. In November, I've actually drained my savings account and had to pull money out of retirement accounts just to pay my bills. William Hike.
Thank you. All right, is still present. Does not appear that she is present. In front of the court, what is the status of this matter?
This hearing was adjourned from February 28th and was referred to the front of the court for a new calculation. We did receive information that needs some clarity in regards to the number of weeks he's been paid this year, when he started his new position, or even just a monthly gross amount to do the calculation with based on the information he submitted.
Thank you. So Mr. Hike, we're trying to make sure we get the appropriate income for you. What is your current employment status? Sure, you have muted yourself.
Oh, sorry about that. Since I've taken the new job, it's been hit and miss. I actually haven't even had a full 14-day paycheck yet this year. But the big thing with the reason for this court date is because my son hasn't been living with his mother for roughly the last 18 months. So I would like to have it reevaluated to where my payments would actually go to the grandparents.
We addressed that last time.
I thought it was in regards to something would need to be filed with a status conference for today in regards to custody of the minor child, but I believe the options were reviewed of what he could do, but I don't believe anything's been filed.
All right, so I can't make that determination today without proper notification to the parties to address that issue. We didn't have Ms. Weissel at the last hearing, did we? No. All right, so sir, are you not working full-time at this time?
My job was actually terminated. They eliminated my division in my company and they began a new division. So I attempted that, and it's kind of a little bit of work. Before I had a rotation, I'd work 28 days on, I'd get 14 days off. And since this has started, I'll come out for 2 weeks and then I'll get sent home for 2 or 3 weeks. And it just hasn't been a very steady process.
You got me a little confused. So when did you start the new position?
It was actually at the beginning of the year, and in actually November and December, I didn't even work one day. I received my salary for the 2 months, but I didn't. Usually with the old position I had, I would get a day rate for the days I would work.
Let's talk about what's going on in 2024. So in January, February, March, and April, you're working with the same company, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And how much have you been making a month for that company?
Like I said, it varies. I actually sent all my check stubs in with my letter. You should have that.
We have his pay stubs for this year.
We do, but again, there's such a variety of that. It's not, and his offer letter indicated he has 3 different rates of pay because he hasn't worked enough hours. I wouldn't know how to calculate based on the information he submitted.
How many hours are you typically working a month, sir?
Well, like I said, there's times where I go home for 2 or 3 weeks, and I've been getting, since this has started, I'd roughly just 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, possibly a month. Like I said, if you had the check stubs, you'd actually see how it's changed drastically. Since this new November, I've actually drained my savings account and had to pull money out of retirement accounts just to pay my bills and maintain my life. But
are you looking for a different job then, or do you intend to continue this job?
actually, that's kind of in the works. I have a friend back home. He's putting an offer letter together for me. It's a lot less money, but at the same time, I'd like to be there more for my kids, and been on the road for the last 12 years and missed quite a bit of their lives. And things aren't really too good with this new position as is right now.
In front of the court, the information that he has provided, does that indicate how many hours he's working?
Each of the pay stubs do reflect that.
Okay.
But he has, I believe it's field work, shop work, and standby work. So.
I think our best thing to do would be to average him out.
Okay.
Figure out how much he's made each pay period and how many hours he's worked and come up with an hourly rate. And then impute that combined rate to 35 hours a week.
Would it be possible that he can submit the most recent ones? Because I believe we only have 2, maybe 3 actual pay stubs.
All right, sir. Can you submit your most recent 2 or 3 pay stubs?
Yeah, you should have my last 5 pay stubs.
All right. Well, if you just resend the most recent ones, the last 2 or 3 most recent, okay?
Okay,
That way
but
we can run a calculation.
no, what about with my child's not living with his mother? She's been received roughly $20,000 since my son has lived with her.
Do you know her current address?
Just 1 second, I have my paperwork here. It's 5562 Peanut Hill Road.
And is that where the children are living with her, or the children living somewhere else?
Her other children live there. My son hasn't been there since September of 2022, and he was actually abused at that house.
What?
There's
you know
actually
what
a
address?
restraint.
You know
There's
what
a
address?
restraining. He lives with his grandparents. I do not know the actual. It's on Shady Brook Lane. I know that. I don't know the actual number.
All right, I do see
Right
it
after the
address file on Shady Brook Lane.
And I know when I actually went to have this set up for the court date, that was Christina's address at the municipal building. That's what they had on file for her.
All right, well,
Was it?
your motion that was filed, I know you mentioned the custody issue, but it was filed as a motion regarding support.
There should be a letter I wrote in there about why setting up to my payments to go to the grandparents and to be evaluated for new calculations. And I mean, I'm sure I get along with Christina's parents and I mean, I can work out a deal. I'm not trying to get out of supporting my son at all, but
We will run a recalculation once we are able to average out your income. Given that you have different positions that you work at different rates, we'll just do an average, and then we'll prepare a new calculation based on that. And we will submit a recommended child support calculation based on that information. And if you have any objection to that new calculation, you can certainly file an objection to that.
I would like to file an objection if the money is gonna go to Christina.
All right, you'll have that opportunity. So you'll see a new recommendation come out, and then if you don't agree with that recommendation, you can file an objection, and then we'll readdress this matter. All right?
Yes,
So make sure you provide recent pay stubs.
Thank you.
Mr. Ackley, do you have a copy of a court order that terminates the plaintiff mother's parental rights?
All I saw was there was a motion, there was a termination proceeding filed against both parties. Dad apparently was given the kids and the case was closed, but my client's rights were never terminated.
I brought it up to my sons that they might have to see this woman, and they didn't like it very much, and it made me very uncomfortable. So I'm not okay with it until it's established that she don't have any rights, and then we can just get on with this divorce.
When is the last time she even saw the children? You're saying she hasn't seen the children in 6 or 7 years?
Last time that she's seen them, they're in foster care.
No, that is not true. I'm not able to get food stamps or anything right now. I'm paying for formula and
Right.
everything, my baby out of pocket.